Our first reading today is from Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter. These are the commands, decrees, and laws the Lord your God directed me to teach you to observe in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess, so that you, your children, and their children after them may fear the Lord your God as long as you live, by keeping all his decrees and commands that I give you, and so that you may enjoy long life. Hear, O Israel, and be careful to obey, so that it may go well with you, and that you may increase greatly in a land flowing with milk and honey. But as the Lord, the God of your fathers, promised you. Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be upon your heart. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. So far, the word of the Lord. Then from Romans, the 13th chapter, we hear these words. Everyone must submit himself to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, he who rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted. And those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right, and he will commend you. For he is God's servant to do you good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword for nothing. He is God's servant, an agent of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also because of conscience. This is why you pay taxes. For the authorities are God's servants who give their full time to governing. Give everyone what you owe him. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. This is the word of the Lord. The gospel reading is according to Mark, the 12th chapter, one of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating. Noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer, he asked him, of all the commandments, which is the most important? The most important one, answered Jesus, is this: Shema Israel. Hear, O Israel. The Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. This is the gospel of our Lord. One of my favorite YouTube preachers. You probably don't know him, do you, Charlie? You need to get to know him. He's quite a fellow. The Reverend, he's a Texas pastor, by the way, and he's not Slavic. He's black. And he's good. The Reverend Do-Good. I was looking for inspiration for today's sermon this week, and was prowling on his material, looking through it, and I just had a conversation with the man. He's taken about a month off, so he has a little more time to just talk, preacher talk. And looking at one of his last sermons, it begins, air, earth, fire, water.
Captain Black.
Pardon?
With your powers combined, I am Captain Black.
Air. Well, forget the powers. Air, earth, fire, water. Just say this with me. Can you do that? Air, earth, fire, water. Air, earth, fire, water. All those things are created things. Things that God has created. He created air for you to breathe. He created the earth for you to live on and grow things good for you to eat in. He created fire in the sky to give you light, the sun. And he created fire for you to be able to cook your vegetables and your meat so that it tastes better and be better for you. He created fire so we could learn how to make steel and things that we use that require fire to convert one thing into the other. He created water for us to drink. In fact, do you know what percentage of you is water?
75.
Is that all? Then you pull something else, son, because it's like almost 98% water. H2O. You are water. Is anybody in the room old enough to remember besides me and Joe? Dottie, you don't count. You're too young to remember the movie, The Blob.
I do.
Yes, I remember the original.
You're too young, aren't you, Charlie? You're way too young. The Blob.
That's one of my favorites.
And the theory of the blob, it was a shapeless mass that was mostly fluid. Well, guess what? We are the blob. We're fluid. We're big bags of fluid.
So we have bones and structure.
Yeah, but other than that, we're big bags of fluid. We are water. God created all these wonderful things, and the point of the Reverend Do-Good sermon was, what have we done with this? Air. Did you know there are people who have to buy oxygen to breathe? Partly because of things they've done to their own lungs, and partly because of the stuff that's in the air that we put in the air that destroys our lungs. We've taken a good thing and made it nasty. And the earth. There's a lot of earth out here. We were talking before service about the colonization of Texas. It was a land that was so huge and so devoid of people. Well, nobody thought much about a place that big. You could dump whatever you wanted to, wherever you wanted. It's not going to hurt anything. Just make sure it's downstream. And then there were people who lived downstream. And then there came a realization that when the surf's up, If what you're in the surf with is nasty, it's not good to be there. You like fish, but you don't like fish with mercury. So we took the earth and we made it nasty. Fire has been used to destroy rather than to build and to help us. And the water, yeah, we pollute the land, we pollute the water. We've made a mess of what God has created for our good. Now, this is not an environmentalist sermon. The earth has been in a mess since Adam and Eve sinned in the garden. It's nothing new that happened in the 20th or 21st century. We have been destroying what was made for us for our benefit from the beginning, and we did it with the very first sin that mankind did. And it's gotten no better through the years. So, it's in a mess, isn't it? And now you have people wanting to occupy Wall Street to fix the mess that they got us into. You have people wanting to occupy San Francisco to fix the mess that they got us into. You have people all over the world protesting against them because they messed this up, didn't they? Who is they? And who are them? Now you're going to turn on this question, and eventually you're going to find out why pastors occasionally get killed. We were talking about that in our coffee shop Bible study this morning, about pastors in Guatemala being rounded up, how they died in a concentration camp 50, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. Oh. Because pastors have this habit of asking you the question of who they is. And who are them? It's an awesome and awful question, isn't it? In a democratic country like this one, if we're protesting against the government, who are them who elected? Or who are they who elected them? And finally, that finger that we always want to point when we're protesting and angry, they did it! Has to come right back to I'm doing it. Me. And don't everybody just look at me and say, oh, you dumb pastor, you're the one who's guilty. No, you are too. That's my point. You too. Yes. Each of us. We are they, and we are them. The scriptures say that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Every one of us. So whose fault is it the world's in a mess? Ours. We did it. So let's all get together in a big association and go out here and pick up all the trash and clean it up. Okay, that's a good thing to do. I won't argue about that. That's fine. But will that solve the problem as long as we are the problem? No. Can we fix the problem? The problem, you see, starts with sin, greed, jealousy, evil of all kinds. Can we fix it? I'm going to do something bad here. Is this okay? I'm going to call on Charlie and Matthew and say, I challenge you to be good for a whole week. Perfect. Don't violate any of God's laws. You lose. How about the rest of the day today? How about 5 minutes more? Me too. Well, lose. We can't. So, along with the good chant from the Reverend Do-Good, air, earth, fire, water, we need to add to this. Sin, death! Nobody wants you. I so see you just joining in with this. Can you see this in Occupy Wall Street? Somebody yelling, sin, death!
Mass destruction, hysteria, panic, fear. The wrath of God is upon you.
There needs to be something more, doesn't there? The other half. Jesus. Redemption. The first half is the mess we're in. Air, earth, fire, water. The earth is suffering with the sin, death. We're in a mess. That's the result of what we're doing. And the solution is Jesus and redemption. Pure and simple. That's why he came. Because the earth was in a mess. That's why he came. Because we are in a mess. And that's why he came. We can't even be good for 5 minutes. I didn't go down to 30 seconds. There wasn't any point because...
It might be okay for 30 seconds.
You already sent. But thinking you were that good.
I lose. I said might be okay.
Might be covers you.
I don't know.
Jesus came among us because we can't be good, not even for a split second. Not really. And if we are, we're so proud of it.
We're sinning.
Yes. We can't be any good at all. We needed a rescuer, so he came. He did the only thing that was possible. Come in the flesh, be with us, be like us. Suffer every temptation that we suffer. Everyone. All of them. Including the ones you aren't willing to talk about, and the ones you sure won't talk about on Sunday. Or at least you won't admit in church that you talk about them on Sunday. Neither will I. That's good. We don't need to. He came and he suffered all those temptations and more. Every temptation known to anybody, man or woman, or beast on this earth, and didn't succumb to any of them. Fully man, fully God, and then was nailed to the cross to pay the price that we owed for making a mess out of things.